It's time for another Your Build video where we take a look at an awesome build that you send me via the input@JorRaptor.com email address. More on how you can submit your build in a second, but let's take a look at this Shinigami build from Meister. And Shinigami is Japanese for God of Death, he notes. And yes, you are a God of Death with this build for sure, even killing people through walls. So let's take a look at this build, and I highlight an awesome visual customization set as well. If you enjoy that, then a like would be super appreciated, and let's go. This build is all about spears and dealing as much damage with a single attack as possible, mostly killing all the enemies in one hit, sending them sometimes flying as well. You are a god after all. We got 44,000 warrior damage, with a big focus on epic gear and getting that extra spear damage. Meister uses the Harvester of Time Deluxe Edition epic spear, but actually every epic spear with the extra damage with spears should work here. And of course, focusing on the damage with one weapon is better than the regular warrior damage, as we saw in other builds highlighted here on the channel as well. Simply because the percentage is of course higher for that single weapon increase. We find the extra crit chance but minus crit damage from the Talon daggers engraving on this weapon. I would just go for the regular crit chance because the minus 50% crit damage is pretty high. And while you do kill most enemies with one hit, some bigger ones can take more hits. So that's why I think the crit damage is still pretty nice. We got the Bident of the Underworld Spear from the Hades set. You of course see Meister rock this Hades set like in all the footage. Also with spear damage, and of course the great plus 25% warrior damage but minus 15% ranged resistance perk. Totally handy as you are the god of death anyways. Dying is not an option with this build, so more damage is better. And we of course see that choice again with the engraving. Plus 15% all damage but minus 15% health. Focusing again on the insane damage while decreasing your defense. This one is from the Greek Hello Daggers that were sold once in the Eagles of the Olympian store as the weekly item. Otherwise you can of course get it in an Olympian gift, although good luck with that. It's also in the Helix store. We see the ornate epic bow in this build. Not that Meister uses a bow, but it's still nice for the stats like the all damage, the crit chance, and also the armor penetration that you of course find on the Atlantean daggers that you can find in the chest in the world. I have a video about that I will link to in the description down below. And then engraving of course helps with you dealing more damage to higher armored enemies. So yes, your regular hits with this build are really powerful, but because of the 44,000 warrior damage, your abilities also do a ton of damage, especially if those are crits too, and you got a ton of crit chance. So that can totally happen. Another way to make your enemies fly. Not a surprise that we find more crit chance, but this time while full health on the helm. All damage as well, and crit damage engraving can be found too. By of course the upgraded versions at the Hephaestus workshop that Ubisoft recently added, that you can find over here on the map. So if you likely know, if you got the level 5 perk, then you can upgrade them here to level 6 and 7. More Spartan inspired gear with the bracers, also again with the familiar crit chance, crit damage and all damage perk, making it clear what the focus is for this build. We find that too on the silver belt, and also the really strong crit chance and crit damage while full health legendary engraving from the Nemean Lion set. If you don't have that, I would say go for all damage or the crit damage while full health as an engraving instead. But yeah, overall I see that the full health is also something you want to maintain when using this build, and the next gear piece helps with that. Because apart from the familiar perks on the chest, we find the 2% damage dealt restored as health engraving from the Acolytes or Amazon set, depending of course on what character you play. So yes, you do get some health back as well with the regular hits to keep the full health perks active more easily, and some ability points in a mastery level will of course help with that as well. The boots are perfect for this set with the double spear damage increase and the crit chance while full health. Really lucky roll from Meister. I think this is the best item in the set, of course apart from the weapons. So at this point I'm like curious what the crit chance for this build is, but sadly we don't have footage of the detailed stats page. So totally when you send your build to the input@JorRaptor email address, send me your stat page as well, along with the inventory and abilities. Also nice that you can hover over your ability points and then see how many you got. So then you can help us understand how much ability points are needed to get the same result. Also something to keep in mind. Because yeah, again, how to send your build a little later in the video, I now want to take a look at the abilities from Jumpsmeister, because it really goes all in on the focus of this build, not wasting any ability points on any unnecessary abilities. I'm always for at least some hunter abilities to help you out at range, but again, I haven't seen him use a bow, so I guess it's not needed. But yeah, we see the standard things: Battle Cry of Ares, flaming attacks, you of course want to have that active at all times. We see the second wind on the wheel there as well, with the rest of the abilities being passive. And I always have the second wind ability on the right, so seeing it on top there is really something just I can't stand that. It does not make sense for me. Anyway, moving on, because we will also see where all the ability points went. We got full damage with the spear, mastery level, crit chance, and 8 points in the crit damage. Not weird, of course, because this is the focus of the build. Full warrior damage in the warrior section, just like the armor penetration, and some damage dealt restored as health. But of course, if you got more ability points, then totally max these out. And then we got the high range, hard hitting powerhouse that Jumpsmeister created, the Shinigami build with a spear. And I want to give a shout out to Paolo G Comedy as well for reaching out with a kind of similar build. Full epic gear as well, focusing on both the spear damage, warrior damage, and even some fire damage here and there, but not a lot of crit chance. So I would say totally go for the crit chance to really perfect this build. But of course, with epic gear, luck is needed to get all the right pieces that you want. But yeah, spear damage, warrior damage, crit chance, and some crit damage is really the way to go here. If you already sent your build, then thank you for that. Of course, if you haven't sent your build yet, you can always do that via the input@JorRaptor.com email address. Share your footage of going like to a fort, killing mercenaries, a conquest battle. The more you do, the better, during daytime please. And also an extensive look at your gear abilities with the detailed stat page. Again, input@JorRaptor.com is the email address. And give it an awesome name as well. If you want to go even further, they can also create this build at azbuilds.com. A link is also in the description down below. You might know it's Jordan Doss. He's a YouTuber who also makes Assassin's Creed videos, and he created this very in-depth website for Odyssey Builds. And it's pretty easy to manually select all the items for the build that you want, and then you get a very detailed look at what your damage will be and other things that the game does not even tell you. There's also a perk searcher here as well. Again, it really goes in depth. So I totally recommend to check out this website if you want to go crazier with these builds. Jordan reaches out with this video that you see right here. He's also looking for feedback. So if you're browsing the site and you see something that you want to see improved, then you can send him an email as well. I also put a link to that in the description down below. So if you want to send your build via the input@JorRaptor.com email address, you might want to implement it in the site as well, and then totally share that link to me too. That will totally add a nice extra layer of depth. Again, azbuilds.com, link is in the description down below. So yes, I want to include a cool visual armor set in these build videos as well, and this one is from Nick, who toyed around with the new Wild Boar armor and found an amazing combination, namely the Brute's helm that is of course from the vinyl rank 1 mercenary, and that really fits well in combination with the new Bone Graveyard chest from the new Wild Boar set. We got the Brawler's Gauntlet, the Persian Warrior waistband as the waist, and the Boots of Ares that you find over here to round out this really cool look. Amazing combination with just one of the new set items that does fit indeed very well with the rest. Nicely done, Rick, and he also shared some pictures of himself rocking this combination as well. So thanks again for sending. If you got a cool visual customization option, totally send it over to the input@JorRaptor.com email address. Share all the 5 armor pieces, some photos, and who knows, maybe that will be showcased in one of the future videos. Subscribe for way more build and outfit highlights, and of course to stay up to date on the latest Odyssey news. We got the February content updates really soon, including more info on New Game Plus, and I will of course tell you everything you need to know here on the channel. So again, totally subscribe if you haven't already, like the video to support the channel, and now let's go to our favorite NPC in the game. His name is Sargon, and he has something that I need, the Hades Lieutenant. He's giving it away to other people like left and right, but forgetting me in the process. So let's hope that changes today. Yo, Sargon, I'm behind you, man. I'm behind you. Okay. So, I got the Hades Lieutenant for me. Let's open. 1 Olympian gift. Come on. Come on. An epic. Okay. Did not expect that. Wooden staff, warrior damage, poison damage, crit damage. Not a big poison damage fan. So you know what that means. Goodbye, number 1 customer. I don't know. I mean, he gets a new one every day. It's to kill these guys every day. Woo. Go swim. Well, yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? It always goes like this. So, yeah, but thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Odyssey videos, of course. Check out my video on New Game Plus that is coming this month. And I will have other cool videos coming your way. Of course, the February content update will be coming too and stuff like that. So, like the video to support the channel. Check out the New Game Plus video if you haven't already. And I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.